Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's about 7 a.m. Prices of BTC currently at 86.35. All right, so what we see so far, folks, is really nothing, just sideways chop right here, sitting right on top of previous demand from January 14 and 15. So here's something that I noticed yesterday in my video, okay? If you notice these wicks on Bybit, if you are someone who uses Bybit like I do, your position from this previous demand structure was actually rated into by these wicks, okay? Now, that's important because not a lot of other exchanges did that, okay? Here's a perfect example of BitMEX, the exchange with the highest volume, right? Here's an example where this wick actually did not tap into this demand, which is the resting liquidity below these wicks. Okay, that would have actually been a bit more of a cause for concern that, the fact that if you go lower right here, what you've really done is you've tapped into the stops down here, okay? And so tapping into those stops should at least create somewhat of a violent reaction to the upside. And so it makes me feel a little bit better that the other exchanges have not done that, and that's why we're kind of spending time here, okay? This is why we've spent almost a day and a half now, really just in this, if you cut off these wicks right here, this is probably no more than $100 range up and down, okay? My advice, obviously not non-financial advice to most people, is don't trade this chop, okay? This garbage right here is for the professionals and the bots to lure you into their traps on both sides. More often than not, most traders do not win in this chop. Sometimes you might get lucky here and there. Sometimes you might, catch the bottom for your longs or short the top for your shorts. But more often than not, the odds are against you. So why not just wait, right? Okay, so like I said, very positive sign that this low right here into the stop liquidity was not rated on BitMEX and most other exchanges. More importantly, okay, I want to show you guys something else that's interesting. All right, I want you to look right here where it says low. Okay, see it says low right there, 8482.44. Over here, the low says 8485.26, and then obviously over here 8507. What this tells me is these are all actually higher lows, okay? So let's put that right there. Let's put another one right there. And let's put another one right there. Okay, these are all higher lows, okay? That is actually, again, not something that's visible on Bybit. This low actually goes lower than this low, so not a good sign. So structurally, Bybit, as of right now, does not give you a clearer picture of what exactly is happening in this area. Now I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening in this area, okay? As per BitMEX, all right, these higher lows and the fact that we're sitting right on top of demand, and notice that even just over the last couple of hours, we came for, this we printed yesterday, but then we printed this just a couple hours ago, right? The fact that's happened, these are consistent higher lows. So what we can say or ascertain is that this is probably a set of absorption, okay? The bears have forced the price down enough, but now they've kind of, what would you say, a unstoppable force has met an immovable object. And the immovable object in this case is the bulls right here. They're not willing to break this wall right here, okay? This wall is their defense for not letting prices crack lower, right? Because remember, what happens if you start cracking prices into this area is you start digging into liquidity that help propel this move up all the way over here from this $84,000, $8,500 area to that $91.50 top. And once you start giving up that, the only defense that you have left is then this area right here. And if I were a bull, which I am for now, and I'm controlling the market, I would not let up any bit of movement past this green block. Now, does that mean it has to happen that way? Not necessarily, right? What could really happen is, say the bulls pull their walls, which often happens. They pull their buy walls, which are defending this area. Because remember, to defend this area, you still need to be able to absorb and have some buy walls, right? So say they pull their buy walls, the bears feel like, oh, it looks like I mean, the runway's clear. Let's, drag this thing down. And really what's happening is there's a passive order that's, absorbing everything on the way down, and it hits a key area, say like 83.50, okay? And everyone and their mother is shorting down here while the bulls are just absorbing all the shorts into their longs. And then eventually, boom, you hit a, really almost a brick wall, and then this thing just starts rocketing up, okay? What this does is it creates short fuel that's being built up on the way down, and all you have to do is just light the match and then watch the shorts get liquidated or get stopped out on the way up, and that accelerates the movement up, okay? That is what I could foresee doing, foresee happening because of the fact that there's still this key area right here that has not been rated into, okay? Let's see here. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that the 1 hour MACD has already crossed bullishly right over here. Okay, so if we look over here, so right around this area, that's where the 1 hour MACD has crossed bullishly, right? That doesn't really mean anything, but it's just something to keep in mind that the hourly MACD has crossed bullishly. What I do want to see is the stochastics of the 1 hour actually go into oversold right here, okay? The 4 hour has actually been oversold for a couple hours, actually maybe the last, half a day, okay? So that's a very positive sign that we're sitting into oversold territory. We're gathering momentum. We're gathering, maybe some shorts right here, and potentially building momentum for the next push up, okay? That is at least how I would see this. Now, if we're wrong, doesn't matter, right? I mean, for the most part, we're sitting out anyway. I'm not in any trade. I'm not in a long. I'm not in a short. I'm really just waiting to see what the market is going to show me. But if I'm not mistaken, if it were me running the market, what I would probably do is let this thing chop around, let more people, get lose their capital in this chop. Maybe have a quick spike down and then push up. That's one scenario, okay? Or this thing chops around again and again, and then it slowly drags down to that scenario that I told you about, goes down near this red X right here, okay? The reason for that red X is not only do you stop out positions from this area right here, but then you stopped out positions from right here, the long positions, okay? Because that's really the last remaining sort of brief consolidation before you moved up. Beyond that, then there's like this big block, which would be much harder for the bears to crack, okay? So one area of liquidity remaining, or rather two areas, is this black X and this red X as per BitMEX exchange, if you look right here, all right? Because like I said, only on Bybit is, these lows have cracked into these stops right here, and they haven't even come anywhere close to these right here, okay? Let's see here. Let's see how the daily looks. Again, daily to me, for now, it honestly looks like a sort of turning around phase. If you look at the daily candles, number one, they're sitting on previous resistance that has turned into demand, right? Because this was the last period of consolidation before the sell-off. Prices come back to that same area as resistance, boom, smashes right through, comes back to that same area as a retest of support. And for all I know, we could just keep moving up from here, okay? And all this allows people to do, these three candles, is get people uber bearish, okay? Most people in the crypto space are fairly amateurs at trading, and they don't really have the patience to watch the market, consolidate, bleed out, weed out people who are excessively long or short. For the most part, to be honest, they really don't know how markets function, all right? So really what they want is, fast and rapid movements like this. And why can't this just keep going up to 10, 12, 15K or whatever? They don't really understand how, markets have to consolidate, and they have to regather, fuel. They have to weed out some excess dead weight from the market, and then, make their next big move, okay? And so when the market is in consolidation, when the market is in this sort of choppy phase, it's best, in my opinion, to stay out, okay? It's okay to trade the chop, maybe, quick chops like $20, $50 up moves here and there. But aside from that, I would not be waiting for hey, I'm gonna buy here and I'm gonna wait for a breakout up here, or I'm gonna short here, I'm gonna wait for the breakdown way down here to $8,400, okay? And I'm not really someone who talks on Twitter a whole lot, as you guys have very well noticed, but I do read people's stuff sometimes, and it's almost ridiculous. And this is why I don't really participate in the shenanigans, because most people are just kind of gambling. They're really just saying that, hey, I'm just going to short here. I'm going to wait for that $1,000, $2,000 drop. But in fact, what really happened was you were actually right in shorting here. You just didn't take a profit at the right place. And so now when the price rides back up, I mean, what do you mean? Like, you're just going to sort of short here and you're just going to let your profit just come back to break even or go at a loss, right? So you got to understand where to, get into your position, when to get out, right? So anyway, that's something that we teach in our community pretty well. Being able to set stops, take profits, get proper entries, not FOMO, not panic sell or panic buy, okay? Let's see here. The MFI has started turning a little bit more bearish on the 1 hour. 4 hour, I think it's, 4 hours pretty much bled out, okay? I'm a little bit more confident that, maybe in the next 24 hours or so, we should be, at least trying to push back up, okay? Unless we, like I said, get that quick spike and then push back up, okay? But yeah, this, as per the MFI, again, money flow index, which gathers price action and volume analysis, it's pretty much bottomed out, and this is where we should start getting into that, higher low phase and start moving back up, okay? Let's see here. Even the daily MFI has actually started to go below the band right here. Okay, so yeah, I would probably say that this is probably a bottoming out of this little consolidation. Let's see. Yeah, and here's another thing: volume is going down as prices are going down. So this is a sign of, hey, we might be done with this pullback right here. Okay, if the volume was actually going up, then I would be a little bit more paranoid. Okay, like for example, notice these candles are going down, right? These candles are going down and the volume is going up for 1, 2, 3, right? But that is much different than what's happening here, right? Okay, CME, still the gap is unfilled. I still do believe that this gap needs to be filled. There's a statistic that 95% of gaps in the CME so far, since I think opening of December 2017, have been filled. What else? 83% of the time, the gap actually gets filled in the first week, okay? So the probabilities are kind of on our side that that gap, right at 88.65 or so, should get filled by the end of the week, okay? Let's see here. In this trading range right here, this purple trading range, we are still under the EQ, and we're kind of just sitting right at the bottom half of this trading range. Okay, I really didn't like the fact that we broke this ascending parallel channel that you could see, this green one right here. So that's one thing that kind of irks at me, because I really wanted to kind of keep our uptrend intact, which, I mean, in my opinion, it's still intact, even though if people want to believe that, hey, we're going to go down from here, even if we pull back, let's just say we pull back right to this area right here, $8,100 or so, that still does maintain sort of our higher low structure. And the only thing we will have created is this low and this lower low. But as for the larger theme, it is still, a higher low like this. Okay, so we can still push back up. But I personally, the last place that I would probably say that, things are about to start looking bearish is if we start gaining a re-entry back into this area right here. Okay, this, 6-week long consolidation phase we had, if this was truly reaccumulation before the upthrust, prices should not gain a entry into this area. Okay, so the bulls need to defend this with all their might. Okay, that would be the only point where I would say, all right, it looks like we're headed back into the potential bear market, which again, technically one could make the argument that we are still in the bear market, and statistically, or sorry, technically, we are, because all we've really done is this is your high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and if this is a top, this is another lower high, and if it leads to continuation downward, then this was really just a fake spike up and then a push down. But in my opinion, like 6.5 weeks of this and then 7 months of downside should at least warrant at least a retest of this high right here around 10,500, or just have an aggressive sell-off right now, and then we can understand that, okay, well, this was a false rally, let's go short, drag this thing all the way down to this consolidation right here between 5,000 and 5,500. And I truly believe that if we were going to go down, I'm fairly confident that this would be the spot for us to stop at. Okay, number one, because that is the last bit of consolidation before this big 13K move. Number two, on the weekly chart, okay, let's see here, the 200 weekly moving average is right around that area if we do decide to fall. So this consolidation and the 200 weekly moving average will probably meet right around the same area if we meet it in the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. All right. I think that about wraps it up. Let's see here. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Nothing really. I mean, I think I've covered everything again. I hope you guys come join the Advantage community, folks. We have a ton of information, a ton of lock channels. We've decided to separate the Trader Talk Bitcoin chat and the altcoin chat. And then we've had, a lot of leverage trading channels, Bitcoin analysis through the day. I have evening, analysis and Zoom sessions, updates, like I said, through the entire day. So people understand exactly what I'm looking at aside from the video that you see in the morning. And so this really helps people gather information as their day progresses. You don't just get one video. You get 2 videos if you're an Advantage member, and you get these updates. Okay. So anyway, 50% off, like I said. I hope you guys come join. Shoot me a message. See where that is. 50% off, as you can see. Only valid till January 30th. So shoot me a message when you come in, and I will talk to y'all soon. All right. Take care. Cheers, and keep your stops tight, folks. All right.